If you've been bringing guests onto your podcast and wondering why you're not seeing the results you've hoped for, it might be time to shift your perspective because it's not about downloads or numbers. It's about building real, meaningful connections that grow your community and build your business. Today, I'm going to show you how to transform your guest interviews into something much more powerful. You're going to have 3 actionable steps to start using these interviews as your ticket to building your business and your community. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Beyond the Downloads, the show that dives deeper than stats and charts to reveal the real impact of your podcast. I'm Jennifer Dragonette, founder of the Bold Action Collective, where we believe that bold moves truly spark transformation. Each week, we explore how your unique story, passion, and purpose can create powerful connections that will change lives, yours and those of your listeners. If you're ready to go beyond the metrics, embrace bold action, and unleash the life raft potential of your podcast, you're in the right space. Let's go. When I first started inviting guests onto my podcast, I was just like a lot of people. I thought the more guests meant more listeners, and more listeners meant more success. But I quickly discovered that the real magic wasn't in the numbers at all. It was the relationships that I was building. When you start to approach each guest interview and guest spot on your show as a potential friend, collaborator, or someone who's just going to remember who you are and rave to their friends about you and your business, that's more than just boosting your stats. That's starting true, genuine connections. And that's where those incredible things start to happen. So for me, podcasting was an outlet to build those friendships because in real life, I wasn't able to. The situation I was in, I wasn't able to actually go out and make those true connections. So I was a bit lonely. So I started using podcast guesting. First, I thought it was, if I have a bunch of guests, my show will grow big and it'll be great and everything will work. I was wrong. But what I gained from it was something more. And I actually built 95% of my business, my production business, and my coaching business because of these connections I made. Not only was I making friends that were going to lead me all over the US and to Costa Rica, I was building a network of people that remembered me when somebody brought up, I want to start a podcast. I'm stuck with my podcast. I became top of mind. So if you start thinking about it this way, every guest you bring on is a real person with their own stories, their own audience, their own community. You connect with them on a human level instead of, I just want their numbers. I just want to borrow their audience. I just want to do this. I'm, looking at it as like a business transaction. When you look at it as more, you create that true ripple effect. They become part of your network, your community, your inner circle. They help you not just grow your listenership, but your entire community. And that's where the magic really starts to happen, is when that community starts to get together. I love that I created a free Facebook community and we just network and network and network. And yes, I've closed that community down since, but surprise, surprise, we have a new one now that is the Bold Visibility Project, where once a month we go live and we have a group coaching hot seat call where you can apply to hot seat. You can meet your fellow podcasters and YouTubers and really start building this connection. If you want to know more about that, it's in the show notes. But this is where that magic happens, is that community, when we start thinking of people as people. And it really does. I can't even explain how easy marketing became by building these connections. There are a lot of things that people miss when they're building this connection because they're like, let's pump it out. I hate creating the extra graphics. It's a lot of extra work to have a guest and to just do a solo show. But what you're building in that moment, that piece where you're giving out that energy, is going to come back to you tenfold. I promise you. It is exhausting, and I get it. Editing is a pain in the butt. It takes forever. Heck, I have a production company. I know this. It's hard for me to keep up on my own stuff because I have so many clients that I'm doing this for. But that piece, that connection, that mission they're sharing with you, that is really what's going to change the game. It's going to be shifting you out of that numbers game into a relationship game. And that really is what business is all about. That's what sales is all about. There's probably a million people out there doing the same thing as you. You think you're unique, but there's somebody else out there doing what you're doing. It's about that relationship and that connection. And it might not necessarily be with that person. You may become top of mind when somebody's like, oh my goodness, I was on Jen's show and we had this conversation and we found this connection and it was just amazing and magical. This happened to me. I ended up finding out that a lady lived actually down the street from me. She likes horses and flying airplanes, and we have a beautiful connection now. So I want you to start thinking about your guests as a potential to build a community. Yes, guesting builds your numbers, and it can. But we'll talk about in a different episode about how to strategically get those guests to build your, community where they're actually borrowing yours. Because here's the truth. Are you ready for it? Take a deep breath. If you have a big time guest on and you talk about the same thing that they talk about on every other podcast, whether they're a book tour or their main focus of their business, their audience is not going to come to your show to listen to them spit out the same stuff. You have to find a unique angle that makes you stand out. So that's like a little bonus tip in there for you. You've got to find the different thing. Like when I talked to John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneurs on Fire, we didn't talk about Entrepreneurs on Fire. We talked about sleep. That made my interview with him unique. That brought his listeners over to me because he hadn't talked about sleep on his other podcasts at that point. That's the magic. So you really get to know your guest and see if you can shift a perspective that they're not currently talking to their audience about, so that it's interesting to their audience to come over to your show to listen to them on your show and get, like that real cross promotion going on. That's just a little bonus tip for you. You'll definitely, there's tons of podcast episodes in this podcast beyond the downloads that you can find about just that. Now, I won't leave you hanging. I'm going to give you 3 tips, tools, things I want you to do. Now, I'm not going to leave you hanging because I know you're starting to see this as something better. And so we'll just get right into it. Here are some things I think you need to start doing. First and foremost, like I said, you need to focus on that relationship. When you invite someone on your show, think about how you can genuinely connect with them. Spend a little time before or after the recording and learn about them. Like, what do they like to do? Where are they at? Who are they? What are their hopes, their dreams, their whatever it is? Like, actually spend some time to connect with them. If you don't genuinely want to connect with them and you're just using them to get the free coaching, great. But that's not going to lead to long-term results of them being your raving referrals. It's just not. It just won't do it. So I want you to spend some time to get to know them. But again, that's not for everyone. Sometimes we do want to have those high-end coaches on that just spit out and teach the same thing. It's a great way to get an hour or 30 minutes of quote unquote free coaching from somebody that can also benefit your audience. They get a little bit more out in the world. Your audience benefits from it. You benefit from it. So it doesn't always have to be about creating this like genuine, like you're going to be my friend. You're going to be part of my community, my network. You can use it that way too. But getting to know your guest and finding those common grounds is really something that you can do. These connections are going to turn that one-time guest into a longer term connection, ally, friend, referral, whatever it is. The second thing I want you to do, and this is where most podcasters, including myself, fail when it comes to these beautiful, juicy guest interviews, is to engage beyond the episode. Most of us turn off the mic, we send over the graphics, we share, we tag them on socials, and boom, we're done. No. You cannot let that relationship end. Keep in touch, share the episodes, support their work, invite them back into your world somehow. If nothing else, get in their DM, send them an email just to check in and say hi and point out something that was in there. Or if they had told you, oh, this was coming out. Oh my goodness, did this come out? Did this program come out? Did your so-and-so get married? How's your dog? How's your horse? Whatever it is, find ways to keep those connections. That's going to put you back top of mind. That's going to make it so that if someone in their network that they're talking to is like, hey, I need a podcast expert, they're going to remember me. Same with you. So the more that you nurture that relationship, the more it's going to grow and become something like what I've created. I have never truly promoted my production company, yet I built it to $9,000 months just through referrals. And when I say $9,000 months, I'm talking about the money that I'm billing, not the money that's actually going in my bank account. So it's, minus taxes and expenses and all of that. So before you're bouncing up and down, like, I want $9,000 months. It's not 9,000 cash, but I still feel that a $9,000 a month income for a business that doesn't really promote, you can look at all my socials, you can look at all my things. It's like, I'm here and then I'm gone. I'm here and then I'm gone. But my production business was bringing in $9,000 a month. And that was all based on referrals. And those referrals all came from people that I at some point had on my podcast. I can trace every single one of my clients back to a podcast interview. It might not be their podcast interview, but to someone that I interviewed on my show, period, end of story. And the next thing, the third thing, I want you to leverage those connections to grow your community. When your guest feels truly connected to you, you're vibing, you're doing all the things, they become natural advocates for your show and your business and what you're doing. They'll share your message. They'll share your business beyond their own audiences on their podcast. They'll share when they're having conversations with a friend or family, like make them feel seen, go above and beyond. And I want you to do this also when you're pitching, but that's another episode. But this is how you create that ripple effect that actually turns into the tsunami that I want you to be, because ripples just aren't big enough for us, right? So you can have that effect really reach beyond each episode. So that's what I want you to do. 1, focus on the relationship. 2, I want you to engage beyond the episode recording and that first share of the episode. And 3, I want you to leverage these connections through that after interview engagement to actually grow your community, your network, and your referral network. Seriously, it's like the best thing you can do for yourself. I don't even know how to preach it any more than that. If you're ready to get even deeper and more strategic with your show and how to bring the right guests onto your show to build these authentic connections, to build this referral network, to build your community, this is why I created the CPR audit. We're going to dive into the clarity, purpose, and revenue side of your business. That means it's not just podcasting. We've got to look at clarity. We've got to look at purpose. We've got to look at revenue and how you can align this with your proper guests to build this network, because business is based on people, connections. People. Why are you the person that somebody wants to come to when somebody else can do it for them? You want to be the reason they come to you is because you have that true connection, not because of your price line. We aren't going to discount ourselves and become like in the discount section of Walmart anymore. We're going to actually build the connections where people can see the value in the number of whatever it is that you're offering. So if you want this to create a guest strategy that truly works for you, head into the show notes, grab a CPR audit, 2 hours with me, one-on-one. We build out a 30-day plan. We build out your guest pitch so that you can start getting the right guests. And in 30 days, we actually do follow up. I don't just let you like fall off forever. Like that's the thing that with me is it's like, okay, we have this strategy, but you can reach out to me. You can email me. You can, and then at the end of the 30 days, we check in and we make some tweaks so that you can have something that actually works going forward. This isn't one of those 1 hour strategy calls where you come in and you disappear. I don't want you to do that because I don't want you to get overwhelmed. And I want you to actually have something. But if you're not ready for that, start with these tips and start focusing on the real human relationships that can transform your business, your podcast, and your life. I mean, these connections actually saved my life. I would not be talking to you today without these connections. There is so much power in these. And yes, again, I understand there is more work to edit a podcast that has an interview because you have to make more assets. You kind of work a little bit harder on marketing it. But if you create this as your community builder, as your network builder, as your referral network, trust me, it's worth that extra effort because that's going to be way less time consuming than trying to build yourself out on social media. So go grab a CPR audit if you're ready for that, or at least follow these 3 tips so that you can get out there and really start leveraging these guest experts on your show in a way that builds your community. I swear, my favorite vacations now are with people that have been on my podcast. I've made a friendship circle based on my podcast. I've made a referral network based on my podcast. I have a community that connects people with people because of my podcast. And I don't market much on social media. You can see that. So go out and make today amazing because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you're worthy, and your story deserves a microphone. Now go do the thing.